Okay, so this is just going to be a basic trading lesson. Okay, now people that just buy and hold don't pay attention to the patterns. I've read all kinds of books on technical analysis, I've written systems. Now, look, if you see this big gap up like that, and you think, I'm rich now, I just keep buying and it'll keep going up to 200, 300. No. Gaps usually get filled. Okay, right there, you see that gap? It's already been filled. The gap is filled. So if you bought at $100, you bought oil and you're like, oh, yeah, I got it, I'm in. Look, now you're poor. It's already down in the 80s. It's already down in the 80s in one day. That's why you don't mess with it. Look at this chart. Okay, this chart right here, candlestick chart. You see this tall tail right there. I made a video of it yesterday, and I put this line right there. You have this tall tail. Get the fuck out of the market. Get out of it, okay? You don't want to hold when you see a tall tail. When you see a tall tail going up, it's over. When you see a long tail at the end of a pattern, then it's over the other direction, okay? It's usually over. All right? You don't want to mess with tall tails. Let's see. That is gold. That gold is on a rampage, okay? It hasn't done any double topping. Okay, it's like scalloping up. It just keeps scalloping and trending up, and it's just the only dip is right here. Now, what you want to look for is you want to see its reaction to this. If it can't get above that and it makes like a double top, you probably don't want to hold gold anymore. Things don't go up forever. Let's look at Bitcoin. Now, if you had Bitcoin and you're back in here and you bought somewhere in here and you see this and you see it do like this, and then it stalls at the same price right there. It's like right there. You see that? Look, it's just real simple patterns. Get the fuck out. Get out. Get out of the market, okay? If you see that, that means it's struggling at that price. Okay? It stalled, it dropped, it went back up, and then it started going back down again. You don't want to hold anymore, okay? It's probably time to reduce your position and then maybe get back in at a more sensible price when the market starts to stabilize. It stabilized back in here, right? Started doing some stuff in there and it started stabilizing. Now, okay, it has a chance to go up there because it has stabilized. It broke out from this little bit of a area and bing, 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 bing. Started climbing, but look, what did it do over here? It started struggling. It did this. It went, I'm going to stall right here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm falling. And then right here, it does it again. It stalls at that area. It stalls at that area. Look at that. Okay? That's resistance. Get the fuck out. Even back in here, right there. Right there. These two little bumps right there. Okay? Right there. It went up there, and then it tried again. Man. And people are like, it's still got some. Let's just keep buying. And then they get here and they're like holding it like, come on, man, come on. And then it's just falling and falling. Come on. Oh, here we go. They keep holding it. Now it's like half the price. You got to get the fuck out. Okay? You got to get out of the market. You can't hold when it starts to struggle at a certain price. It's simple. It's very simple. Okay, this is my trading system. It's Twin Towers. It costs $500. You use it on a MetaTrader broker. The way I use it is I chart on MetaTrader, and I use a different broker for charting. You could trade with your broker and use the system on MetaTrader, but I do actual trades on Thinkorswim, and I just like the chart. The chart graphics and capabilities of MetaTrader are better than Thinkorswim, Charles Schwab, Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is offered through other brokers as well. It's an options trading platform. And once you get your chart direction down, then you pull up what you want to trade. So right here, you could see the short signal right there in the towers. You sell, and then bang, nice little trend down, okay? And then you have your support and your resistance, the red bars right there, or magenta if you want to be extremely accurate. You could call, these are green bars, but they could also be called lime bars because they're technically lime and technically magenta. So the magenta, you have the magenta resistance, and it's struggling to get above the resistance. It poked above it, and then it went back down, and now you have support. So if you buy the system for $500, you get the rules. Okay. Let's see. Okay, this is a SPY in the hourly time frame. Now, something interesting has happened. We've had a lot of crashing, a lot of struggling to get above resistance. You can see the resistance in red. And it has had trouble gaining support, any type of meaningful support. It has been trashed. But now you have a big thrust above the resistance right here. It looks like we're probably going to have some support forming in the SPY. We'll have to keep an eye on it. And right now, the market just closed. It is 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And it closed strong. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 24 hours to see what happens if the SPY can get back on a bull run. Let's see if it has reversed. So we'll be watching this closely. That is a big thing that happened here because it closed above resistance strongly. So now I'm going to draw this. My system hasn't drawn support yet, but it will. Okay, I'm just going to manually draw support right there. That's our support right there for SPY. Let's see what happens. I'll do an update tomorrow. Stay tuned and subscribe. You can buy the system through Cash App. Gives you signals, you get support and resistance. It's $500 through Cash App. No refunds. You can use it on MetaTrader. You get a full manual that you can read and discover patterns. I recommend that you practice trade before you live trade, and you can learn how to use the system and how it works on different trading instruments. This is a SPY. It is basically an ETF fund based off the S&P. It's what a lot of traders trade to make a lot of money. This is where you make or break yourself, is in the SPY. It is the best trading instrument for trading options. And what I do is I pair the SPY and the S&P. Okay, I use an hourly S&P chart for both the SPY and the S&P, and I run them side by side on a split screen. So now over here looking at the S&P, you have with my trading system, there's your buy signal right there. You get in, you buy, you have support right here. So the way that works is it's trading above this support block. The support block has formed. And now as long as this support holds, okay, it formed new support. You see the candles right there. They have tails that dipped into the support, but they didn't go through support. Okay, so the support held. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. The support held. Okay, the secondary thing, look at this. Look how well it works. Okay, back in here you have resistance and you have these little probes, the tails, but nothing got through the support. So the support formed, resistance formed right here in this bearish move. So you have resistance form, and then you have this trading below. You see it never goes above the resistance. It forms new resistance right here, but it never goes above it. You see that? See how well it works? And then it goes down, forms some new resistance. Now you have many phases of resistance. And now you're thinking, oh man, I better watch this closely because now it's starting to form a base. And sure enough, it forms a base, and here's your first block. You buy in here. You get the signal. Signal buy right there. Okay? Right there. Bang. Buy. So you buy what? You buy the SPY. You don't buy the S&P. You actually buy the SPY contract. And how I would do that is I'd buy it on Thinkorswim. I would get a contract that is a few days out for swing trade, either 1 or 2 days out, and a contract that is a little bit out of the money, okay, $1 or $2 out of the money, and then I hold it, and then I watch the pattern to decide how long I'm going to hold it, okay, and then I get out if I feel the pattern is threatened. Okay, but in here, there's nothing in here in the system that says this pattern is threatened. Okay, thumbs up, bang. All right, support has held right there. Okay, you see the probes? Those are probes. Tails are probes. The tails probed. You have tight candles right in here, right in here. Tight candles are decision candles. Okay, and this is good because it's happening above support. It's not happening at the top of a pattern because this is consolidation right here. It's this probed up right here, and then you have a decision right there above support. You already have the buy signal back in here, so if you're holding this, there's really nothing to fear right here except you get this little bit of a dip. It's trying to scare you to get out, okay? But the support holds. The support holds, and then it bumps up. And then it breaks through this little area right here, this probe, all right? That's a breakout right there. That's a breakout because this probed higher. Can I go up above there? And the mathematics of the universe says, yes, you can. Yes, you can, okay? Right there, okay, you have a little bit of a bump right there. You have a little bit of an engulfing bar, which is a little scary, but we have a lot of support. And then you have new support forming, and then you have the boom breakout. That's where you get the big money. That is where the big money is. Now it's way in the money, and now your contract is worth many more times than what you have bought it for. Okay? That's why trading options is lucrative if you do it correctly. And I just showed you how you could do that. So, if you want to buy the system, Cash App me $500, no refunds. You get the system through email, and that's it. That's the end of it. You get the system in your email. You open up the system. You put it in MetaTrader. You have to have MetaTrader set up, all right? And then you read the manual. You're good to go. Practice. Practice before trading with real money. Make sure you can manage a practice account for at least a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month or 2 months if you really want to do this and get good. One time I traded 102 successful trades on Ethereum. I had no money. It was a demo account, and I had followers, and I made them money. And guess what? I got scammed. Okay, so I lost track of where I was at, but let's look back in here in the pattern here. You can see like this thing, here's how support breaks down. Now this pattern back in here, you see this kind of stalling, and then you have red candles right in here. Support holds in here for a little bit. You have probes getting down in here, but then something happens. You have resistance that forms. This isn't good for the pattern. So this is, it kind of looks like a double top of the pattern when you combine it with my system and the actual candlesticks. So you see this punch up right there, and then it punches up with this probe right here, and then you also have resistance. And then it cannot get above that resistance. Okay, you see it just struggles. Okay, you have some short signals back in here. It's a little bit rough because the pattern is rough, but it does eventually break down. and then it tries to, it develops another second level of resistance here. It does get above it briefly, but then it stalls out. So you have a really tough pattern, which is a tough pattern to trade. But eventually, this does break down. Okay, it does break down, and then you have that resistance form, and then it breaks down. Okay, you have to just go by the rules, read the trading manual if you buy the system. Okay, you see it breaking down, and then right here you have this new resistance form right here, and that's the end of story for this pattern. Okay, this bearish move here just goes down and down, and then it hits an extreme right here. This thing flattens out. It's a good indication that this has met its end for the pattern. Okay, that's part of the system. When it goes into an extreme situation right here, okay, it ends up bottoming out, forms a base, turns around. Rest is history. Now this is where we are. Okay, so you should be long in the pattern. You should be long in the pattern back in here. Okay. If you have the system, then you're able to trade more effectively. You're able to see things that you wouldn't have seen by understanding the rules and the patterns and the trading instruments that you trade. Okay? Trading is not a game. Trading is not a game. Especially if you're trading with real money, if you're trading with a demo account, then it's a game. Okay? But that's how you get proficient, is trading with fake money on a demo account with the system, and tracking your results and figuring out what you did wrong. Okay? That is how you get good. Make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned for new videos. I will keep you updated. And in case you're asking, did the system catch oil? Now, I said this before, it doesn't do as good on commodities, but you have to learn how it reacts to commodities. The answer to your question is yes. You could see that the system maxed out right there, and then it stepped down right there, showing weakness, and then you got a signal back in here after several breakdowns, after it looks like it topped out back down in here, an indicator. You have it stepping down, and then you have an actual signal to sell. Okay? A lot of people don't like to trade that because look at how much it fell. And if you get a signal, actually the signal happened pretty quickly. So if you're fast, you could still get in at a good price. All right? But people want to get the perfect entry and the perfect exit. And unfortunately, my friends, that's not how trading works. That is not how trading works. You have to have enough money to trade with. You have to have a lot of money to trade with. You have to be able to trade as if this is not your last trade. Okay? So, but the answer to your question is yes, the system caught the trade. Because you could have sold and got another wave. You have resistance forming. Okay? You have it probe up, trying to get above the second level of resistance. It's not happening. It fell, and another level of resistance has formed. So yes, the system did work on this last oil move. All right. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm out.